Another thing that might be worth talking about is the types of depression. So, um, there are three that I have personally experienced, though I know there are more types. Depression is considered a mood disorder. That's the general category in the medical world, and others in that category could include bipolar. Bipolar is periods of depression and periods of mania. Mania being like very, very energetic and kind of the opposite of being sad, but not necessarily, because it can be quite stressful, I guess. Um, then we've also got the three that I've experienced. So there's major depression, the typical type. There's major depression not otherwise specified. That's not like the official terminology exactly. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but there is kind of like a depression other box, and tick. And then there's a third one called dysthymia. It used to be called minor depression, and that's because it was maybe a lower number of symptoms over a longer period of time. So with typical depression, with major depression as people call it, that one is you've got to have those symptoms. You've got to have 5 out of, I think, more than 10 or something for a minimum of a 2-week period. Typically people give it a lot longer than 2 weeks before they go for diagnosis. And then dysthymia, I think, is over 1 year if you're like a child, you're underage or something, and 2 years if you're an adult. I have experienced that for sure. I have experienced atypical depression, the not otherwise specified one, and I have experienced major depression. They are all very, very different, and I think that the only reason I want to bring this up is that dysthymia is real. Dysthymia is just as sucky because it erodes your sense of self. It erodes your sense of what is normal to feel, what is normal to experience. It really just, it makes it impossible for you to know whether or not your experience is what it should be, whether it's normal, whether it's healthy. You know, you get so used to having minor misery, minor problems with overeating, minor problems with sleep, etc., etc., you know, and the symptoms will come and go over time. So maybe you'll have this set of 3 now, and then in a couple of months, you know, something good will happen in your life and you might have a reprieve for maybe a month, and then so it's good for a little bit, and then you get used to it or something else happens and you go back down again, and it's a different set of 3 for a while, you know, and whatever. It really makes you feel like an imposter in your life because you think, you know, I'm suffering and this sucks, and it seems like other people are managing their life so much better than me, and if my experience is normal and the same as everyone else, then that means I'm just weak for struggling with it. So, you know, I guess I better just force myself through it, because if everybody else can deal with it, then so can I, right? I have to, because that's what's expected of me. And what you don't realize is that, no, that's not normal to be dealing with those problems. And if anyone tells you it is, then that's because they've got it normalized too. They're going through the same thing too, you know? So maybe they've grown up where they were taught that it was normal, and they might not experience it themselves, but they do believe it's normal. People don't always know. People really don't always know. And you get used to it or something else happens and you go back down again, and it's a different set of 3 for a while, you know, and whatever. It really makes you feel like an imposter in your life because you think, you know, I'm suffering and this sucks, and it seems like other people are managing their life so much better than me, and if my experience is normal and the same as everyone else, then that means I'm just weak for struggling with it. So, you know, I guess I better just force myself through it, because if everybody else can deal with it, then so can I, right? I have to, because that's what's expected of me. And what you don't realize is that, no, that's not normal to be dealing with those problems. And if anyone tells you it is, then that's because they've got it normalized too. They're going through the same thing too, you know? So maybe they've grown up where they were taught that it was normal, and they might not experience it themselves, but they do believe it's normal. People don't always know. People really don't always know. And it can be really hard to realize whether or not you're depressed too, whether you've got it, whether that's true for you. You know, for me, I spent months and months and months actually major depressed, with family members telling me, Leah, you're depressed, you need to take it seriously, you need to go to a doctor, you need to do whatever it is. And I was like, no, I'm fine, I'm just going through a hard time, but it's fine, I'll get over it, it'll be okay, there's nothing going on, this is normal. It's just my life is a little bit harder right now because of external factors. There's nothing wrong with me. And then eventually I realized, no, there is something wrong. It shouldn't be like this. I shouldn't be suffering so much. You know, I kind of just realized the extent of my suffering and how long it had been going on, and I finally listened. And so it took a long time for me to realize what I was experiencing and to really become aware of it. You know, I had no experience of major depression before, and I'd been so used to dysthymia that it didn't seem like a big deal because it just felt like an especially difficult time. And in the past, you know, I'd have difficult times and I'd get through it and I'd be fine, and then I'd have a month where everything was good, and if I can have a month where everything's good, I can't possibly be depressed, right? You know, so I guess I'm just having a slightly harder time than usual, but it's fine. It's normal, right? No, it's not normal. It's not normal. If you can't get out of bed in the morning, and if you don't enjoy anything in your life, if you don't feel any boost from being around the people that you love, the people that you like, the people that you care about, if even sitting down with your pet, and that's not all the time either. It might be that your life is harder right now, but it wasn't a year ago, and maybe next year it won't be. You're going through something right now, but it's temporary, and you can make it even more temporary and get it on its way out of your life again. If you take it seriously and you do something about it, you go and get medication, you go and get therapy, you go and get a life coach, you go and start meditating, you start exercising more, you start taking supplements, you do something, whatever it is that's right for you, that you can afford to do, you know, you need to do something. It is a sign of insanity to keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And if you haven't tried anything new, then you haven't tried anything. Sorry. I've experienced that myself, you know, and I kind of went through the list. I tried everything I could think of. I tried dieting, I tried exercising more, I tried going to the gym as my exercise and walking as my exercise, I tried managing my lifestyle a bit better, I went traveling, you know, I went and got therapy. I got therapy twice actually, you know, and both times it helped. I didn't recover. I think I didn't get enough, but it did make a big difference. And I think for me now, this time, for me, medication is the answer. And my doctor says that he only wants it to be a year that I'm on it, and then after that I'll come off. That's his intention. You know, he described it as a course of medication in the same way that you'd call a course of antibiotics that, you know, so I like that attitude, and for me I think that works. But there are some people who are going to be on antidepressants their whole life because their brain developed in such a way that they have a permanent serotonin deficiency. In the same way that you can have a calcium deficiency, you can have a sodium deficiency, you can have whatever else, and you can have a serotonin deficiency too. It's possible, it happens, nothing to be ashamed of. It's just your body. Sorry, your body's a bit messed up. You need to get a supplement for that. You have different needs than other people. But that's true anyway. There are some people who, you know, they do need to be taking vitamins a lot more than some other people do. You know, there are some people who have a problem with their joints, and so they have to take supplements like cod liver oil to help their cartilage or something, you know. It's just another medicine. And it doesn't have to be a big deal if you don't want it to be. I didn't want it to be. So, yeah. That's depression. If you are going through depression right now, I just want you to know that there is an end to it, and it doesn't have to be the end of you, okay? People around you do care and will notice if something bad were to happen to you. So please reconsider that option, okay? We don't need to hurt ourselves. Instead, what we should be doing is we should be treating it like what it is, an illness that we can go to the doctor about, and the doctor will be able to help us. We can get medication, we can get therapy. I know that people don't think that medication is great to stay on, and I know that people don't like the idea of therapy because it feels so vulnerable and uncomfortable, and it's just talking. What can talking really do? But maybe talking will help you to identify what will make you happier in your life, what habits you've got that make you sad, and what habits you could have that will make you happy. That's basically CBT. I recommend it. I do. Yeah, so if you've got depression, I'm here with you. I'm in it too. And I want you to know that if you need support, support is out there. I will try to put some links in the description so that you can talk to someone, and you can get more information. Alright, so that was way longer than I intended. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making it to the end of the video.